I don't know about you, but Noah knows quite a bit about cannabis legislation. He tries to make the world a better place the only way he can, informing people on the finer points of the legalization of that good, dank, purple skirple green stuff. This is his story. Oh, hey man, what's up?
Ow. Hey. I'm just having a lot of trouble, you know. I'm trying to figure out this ballot.
Which one?
This number 64 one right here. You know, about marijuana.
I got that. What about is bothering you?
You know, I just don't understand. I know it's either marijuana's legal or not, but that's not all of it. It goes deeper than that. Imposes taxes. What?
Well, hey man. I think I can help you out.
Really?
If you look over to your left, I've actually got the information right up there.
Whoa!
Ready to go. So Proposition 64, we're looking at legalization of marijuana. Right there. Bongs, joints, you gotta do. Now, there are pros and there are cons to legalization. Some of the cons, at least for this bill, people are worried about driving accidents while impaired.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
That would be terrible. It's a reasonable thing you're worried about. You legalize drugs, you legalize cars, people do them at the same time. So, there you go. People are worried also about television ads where they promote smoking. We already got rid of tobacco smoking ads, but apparently there's a loophole. They could do that.
Poison the minds of our children! Not the children!
They could do it. So, think about the kids. Small farmers. Big head, small farm. He could go out of business with the introduction of big marijuana business in the future. And then, could also affect poor communities by there being, pot shop on every corner, liquor store on every corner. Same idea. That's where they're going to open up. Okay. There are also some pros to legalizing this. First of all, safe access. The current Bureau of Medical Marijuana Regulation will become the Bureau of Marijuana Control, and there'll be all kinds of regulations on how to grow and sell to make sure that it doesn't get in the hands of kids, and there's no pesticides and gross stuff in it. Everything that's not happening right now in the black market. Another pro, taxes. There's going to be a 15% excise tax on all retail marijuana purchases, as well as a $9.25 tax on all ounces of flowers and a $2.75 tax on all leaves. All this money, which should amount into, if we're looking at Colorado and the way it's worked out for them, up to billions of dollars of revenue. We're going to be looking at $2 million to go to UC San Diego for research for medical marijuana. We're going to be looking at $10 million a year for 11 years to public universities to research the impact of Prop 64. We're going to be looking at $3 million a year for 5 years, the CHP, to develop DUI protocol. We're going to be looking at $10 million per year, increasing by $10 million yearly until $50 million in 2022. For local health departments and community-based nonprofits supporting job placement, mental health treatment, substance use treatment, system navigation services, legal services to address barriers to re-entry from prison, medical care for communities disproportionately affected by past drug policies. And then the remaining revenue, we get 60% to youth programs, 20% to alleviate environmental damage caused by illegal grows, and 20% to reduce stoned driving and reduce negative impacts of Prop 64. Prop 64. That's the one. Less money spent on law enforcement. In fact, there's less law enforcement here now, so I just erased that. We're going to be resentencing anyone that has been convicted of crimes that are now legal with Proposition 64. So we'll have small-time drug dealers and users back on the streets, which is a good thing.
And we're gonna walk out the front door.
I think great thing, going back to that money, money ain't going nowhere. There are stipulations in the bill that will prevent legislatures from using the money in areas not stipulated in the bill. Pretty cool. And also, black market will be no more.
That makes it so much easier. I know my answer now.
Josh Disbrow is a professor at FRC who is passionate about animals and their well-being. He has no care for his teaching career and chooses not to dress appropriately or arrive on time for class. In his lesson, he will enlighten his students on the matter of the California ballot and some of the propositions that accompany it.
Action. All right, class. We'll make this quick. I got an important date in about 5 minutes. So, we're going to cover this quickly. Cigarette tax. This covers that there will be a $2 increase on every pack of cigarette and every other tobacco product, e-cigarette product, that has any form of nicotine in it. Okay, cool. Moving on. 57. Juvie process. Here's what's going on. Basically, we're going to have juveniles give the courts decisions to decide whether or not a juvenile gets tried as an adult or as in fact a juvenile. Also, this has double meaning. It will also allow for non-violent felons to have sentence credits for good behavior, education, and rehabilitation. That's what that covers. Cool. English proficiency. What we got going on here is the state wants to make the schools teach English quicker in a better manner to allow second language English students the ability to learn that knowledge faster and to submerge the education system in multilingual environments for both English speakers and non-English speakers. So everyone's getting the same cool education about languages. Cool. 59, political spending. What we got going is the U.S. declared that it was unconstitutional to infringe the ability to fund politics, and this is going to override that and allow restrictions in California on political spending. Action! Adult films, condoms, those things. What it says is that performers must wear condoms when adult filming. Now this also requires the industry to provide vaccinations, medical examinations for the actors and actresses who star in these wonderful adult films. Drug purchases. This states that California will not buy anything but the lowest priced drug for use. Cool. 54, legislative. That requires the legislative to post all recordings of their debates and topics of conversation in their little fancy room within 72 hours upon the internet. Probably with a video camera and YouTube. Alright, next. 62, death penalty. This will transfer all death penalty into lifelong sentences. Firearms. What we got going is firearms. What we got going is we no longer want large capacity ammunition and large capacity magazines, and we don't want people to get ammunition easily. We want it to be a very secure process by requiring people to have a special permit license to buy ammunition. Death penalty procedures. This will allow attorneys who normally take non-capital offenses and accept death penalty worthy cases. Also, it will remove the restrictions and regulations that the what are they called? It will exempt prison officials from certain procedures that they normally have to follow to allow them to execute prisoners quicker to get them out of the system and get it done with. 52. Medi-Cal. What this covers is that it wants to enforce a fee upon hospitals to help pay for Medi-Cal bearers, no insurance patients, and child health. Action! Bonds. Here's what we got. They want to require all of the U.S. people to vote on all the bonds over $2 million to being passed. So we all got to get a ballot, mark down our answer, put it in, vote on it, get it passed or not. For all bonds over $2 million. 55. This one, hit it. Covers tax extensions. Now, we already have a personal income tax enforced in California going towards the funding of schools. This will continue that tax for another 12 years, and that's basically all that does. All right, class, that was fun. Great time. I got a hot date. Oh, look at the flying little kitties. Oh, they're so cute. Oh my gosh.
Did I interrupt or something?
No, not at all. Nothing at all. It's after hours. What do you need?
So I was a little curious about Proposition 65, 67, the plastic bags. They've got a couple of propositions there.
I am glad you asked. I was thinking about just that same thing. Come on in and have a seat.
All right.
Glad you asked. This is the enemy that those propositions deal with. Propositions 65 and 67 deal with these. The plastic bags affecting the world. Now, 67, we'll start there, declares no more plastic bags. In fact, it desires carry-out bags of different sorts. Reusables, paper, but they don't come for free. They come at a 10-cent minimum charge upon them. Why? You might ask yourself. Why does it require that 10-cent minimum charge? The answer is simple. The companies that are selling the bags, Safeway, big stores, big pharmacies, all them people, they want to promote anti-plastic bags and promote reusable bags with that 10-cent minimum charge. Now, we don't know for sure whether or not it's going to go towards that, but that's what they want. See, they want to use that charge to cover the costs of the carry-out bags, the educational efforts to educate people on using carry-out bags and complying with the measure, aka Props 67. Now, this not only will do that, but it'll also create a new standard for reusable bags. So reusable bags will be made of a higher quality and probably of a material other than plastic. Now, financial costs of this are not going to be super bad. It's only going to have an increase in the state admin costs to administrate all of this stuff. They'll probably have to hire a couple hundred people to deal with this. And it will also grant probable local savings because they won't have to spend money on waste management, cleaning up the streets, and dealing with plastic bags from Safeway flying around the community. Now 65. Plastic bags have been an enemy of the animal kingdom for a very long time, even plaguing the dogs. Now, 65 goes towards environmental costs. They will eliminate single-use plastic bags and encourage and promote and force upon us reusable bags and bags of other sorts, not made of plastic. Now, they will charge money for these bags, probably at a cost higher than 10 cents, because they are trying to raise money for the Wildlife Conservation Board, which will work and put that money towards dealing with drought, recycling, clean drinking water, cleaning up our parks, and wildlife habitat restoration. And since we're California, we got a giant coastline. So they're going to work on cleaning up our coast because plastic bags have plagued the coast as well. Now, people are wondering, that sounds expensive. You are absolutely not entirely true, because the cost will only be from the profits made from those bags that they sell. Which means we'll have an increase of a couple $1 million towards the Wildlife Conservation Board. And this only applies to the state laws, not local laws. So if your state law, its branch, it sets a standard here, and your local laws set your standard here, it only applies to those state laws at the lower standard. It does not apply to your upper local laws. Now, local laws can be added into addition to the state laws, and they have the option to donate that money to the Wildlife Conservation Board, but they don't necessarily have to. Now, these two options are sending money to two very different places. So what happens if both of them pass? The answer is quite simple. Whichever one passes with the most votes ends up getting the win. So, should the Wildlife Conservation Board have more votes than the businesses getting that 10-cent charge, then we will donate all of our money to help save Charlie. Charlie, my favorite turtle. And if the companies win, they get more votes, they get that 10-cent charge to promote education on plastic bags, complying with the measure, and the other reasons listed. So that is what Props 65 and 67 do for us. Does that answer your question?
You know what? It does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do you have any other questions?
You know what? I don't. Thank you.
Great. I will see you later.
Lastly, we have Seth Huta, a humbled, hard-working scholar who is considered to be a prince amongst his people. Not only is he musically gifted, but he has a passion for the California education system. He believes that it is not only his civic duty to inform the populace on such matters, but that God himself has sentenced him with the task. This is his story.
Dude, so what is Proposition 51?
I'm glad you asked, person I don't know. Proposition 51 is also known as the California Public School Facility Bonds Initiative.
It's interesting.
Yeah. What this is going to do is going to be an issue of $9 billion.
Whoa, I get $9 billion?
Not you personally, sorry to say. But like I said, it's for the improvement and construction of new facilities.
What kind of facilities?
Well, the facilities will be for the K through 12 grades and also community colleges, like here in FRC.
So how much money?
$9 billion.
Where does it all go to?
$3 billion is going to go to the construction of new school facilities. And $500 million is going to go to schools that have little charter programs, like charter schools. $500 million for career technical education programs, such as trade schools. And $2 billion for acquiring, constructing, and renovating equipment throughout community colleges.
What are we waiting for? Let's vote yes!
Hold on, not so fast, because there is a little bit of opposition to this proposition.
Opposition to this proposition?
According to Ballotpedia.org, a legislative analysis estimated that the $9 billion bonds would actually cost $17.6 billion to repay, as well as being a $8.6 billion in interest.
That's a lot of money. I don't know what to do.
Essentially, it would cost the state more money than it actually has.
We can't vote yes!